I didn't comb my hair for time, so now I'm trying to hide my hair. And now I've got this like All Might devil horn thing going on here. And I don't know, I think I actually kind of like it, if I'm honest. I think it looks kind of cool. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video on my thoughts on movies and stuff. Today's video is on Cruella, a 2021 origin story to the legendary villainess herself. Cruella is set in 1970s London amidst the punk rock revolution. We follow a young grifter named Estella, a creative and very intelligent young girl who is determined to make a name for herself. In the world of fashion. Maybe I should do the rest of the synopsis in like a Londoner accent. She befriends a pair of roadmen. No. She befriends a pair of young thieves and they appreciate her appetite for mischief. And together the three of them build a life for themselves. Build one life for themselves. Build a life for them. And together the three of them build a life for themselves on the London streets. One day, Estella's fashion catches the eye of Baroness von Hellman, a legend in the fashion industry. But their relationship will set in course a series of events that will have Estella embrace her wicked side and become the infamous, the fashionable, the notorious John Cena! Cruella de Vil. Now, I was surprised at how this movie came out. Granted, I went in with no expectations, and that helped a great deal, but this movie was a ride. Of course, Guy 1 and 2 have to have a go at it before I can say anything, but before we let them get into it, why don't you go ahead and hit that big red button? Yeah, that's right, subscribe. We're trying to reach a goal of 1,000 subscribers and we're almost halfway there. So we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and that you shared this with your friends so that they could subscribe as well. Don't forget to hit the bell to be notified about every time we upload. And if you really want to make us do a little jig for joy, then why don't you head down to our Patreon and become a bro by becoming a patron. Patrons get early access, behind the scenes content, and all sorts of other perks. So come on down and let us hold $1. All done subscribing? Thank you, darling. On with the show. Cruella. Okay, rude. Sorry. Not sorry. Thank you, I guess. Honestly, where does Disney even get off? The make a lot of money stuff? They seem to be hell-bent on creating these anti-heroes out of their villains who are quite diabolically evil. And what's wrong with that? It cheapens the original source material. Cruella is somebody that hates dogs and wants to skin puppies to make a fur coat. Yeah, that is pretty diabolical. Yet all we see in this retcon of an origin film is somebody who pretends to skin dogs for the 1970s version of social media clout. Well, fake it till you make it, I guess. Look, Disney's whole thing seems to promote that behind every bad psychopath is some sort of traumatic childhood that somehow excuses all of their actions. Yes, because not everyone is evil. Everyone has layers, you know, and motivations. Human motivations. And what about the Baroness? Where's her humanity? Alright, you got me there. If Cruella is meant to be evil, then let her be evil. Why go and ruin something that is a confirmed hit with your morally ambiguous money grab? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Figure it out. You figure it out. It's almost as if they're running out of ideas back there, honestly, because Raya and the Lost Dragon was a bootleg Avatar The Last Airbender, and now Cruella comes in as a bootleg The Devil Wears Prada. But you like The Devil Wears Prada. Exactly. So why wouldn't I just go watch The Devil Wears Prada? Think, Guy 2, think. Who actually asked for this movie? The fans of Disney villains, obviously. No, they didn't. This movie has no reason to exist. The people weren't clamoring for a Cruella original film. Are you sure? We both know that there are many Disney villains that have a cult following, to the point where it was alleged that they almost constructed a Disney villain park. That doesn't prove anything. Alright, hotshot, well then how do you explain the posters for 101 and 102 Dalmatians? Both posters featured the stunning Glenn Close as the wicked Cruella, the only human character to be featured on the posters of the movies. Yeah, well, that's because come off yourself, mate. There is a market for this and you can't deny that. All right, fine. You got me there. Maybe there are people who want to watch this movie, but that doesn't mean that this movie had to be made. At least not the way they made it. You're being ridiculous. Am I, though? Did they really have to rework one of the greatest reveals in all of film history? Oh, the multiple Hugh Jackmans in The Prestige. No. Oh, you mean the "you're me" scene in Fight Club. That one was pretty good, yes, but think of the greatest reveal in all of film history. The greatest one. Oh, you mean the "he's me and I'm you" reveal in Rush Hour 3. What? Of course not. Relax, I'm just pulling your leg. Obviously you mean the reveal that Nick Fury was a Skrull in Spider-Man Far From Home. No, I am your father. Oh, that. You should have just said so. You did that on purpose. Besides, you don't see that happen in Cruella. Cruella has more of a "no, I am your son" approach, which is still a copycat move. You know, I don't think it was a copycat move. If you would have asked me, I'd say that it was done quite artfully, actually, especially if you compare it to a real copycat move like the Mortal Engines. Oof, that was a real mess. Yeah, no kidding. All right, fine, I can give you that. But what about the Superman effect? Cruella is also getting a Snyder cut? No! What is with you today? No, I mean the Superman effect. You know, the whole thing about Superman and Clark Kent looking the same because they are the same person, and that just because you put on a suit and glasses doesn't actually change your appearance? Yeah. And the only difference between Estella and Cruella is hair dye. Well, that's definitely more effort than Superman. Yeah, but that doesn't justify... You know what? Never mind. I can't with you today. You know what I think would be a far more pertinent question? What? Why does Estella have black and white hair right down the middle if nobody in her family does? Both the Baron and the Baroness have brown hair. That is a good question. Or how Cruella had a skirt that somehow turned into a parachute? Mid-fall? Where did she even get paratrooping experience? She didn't get it from Fashion Week. Yeah, where would the straps even go? Exactly. Gee, I think you did my job better than me today. Because let's be honest, mate, you liked the movie. Oh, stop it. Search your feelings, you know it to be true. Of course I loved it. You know I love Emma Thompson. She was amazing. She was great. It's Emma Thompson, of course she was great. And Emma Stone was amazing. Stellar performance from start to finish. Ah, finally. We hear the truth. Testify. And Joel Fry, Paul Walter Hauser. This film was carried on the pillars of two Emmas with the supporting cast dancing around them like some sort of elegant ballet. Every part of this movie spoke to me. Oh, I couldn't agree more, darling. I just don't like that something this good had to be a money grab. Or that it doesn't actually explain Cruella's origins. We've been over this. No matter what you say, you'll never be able to convince me. Hashtag not my Cruella. But I don't know, guys. What do you think? Was Cruella the cunning, wicked, evil heiress we all deserved? Or was it just an overlong, overcomplicated mess of an origin story? I, for one, am actually very happy with this movie. I absolutely loved it. I'm so glad I actually got to watch this movie in cinema, and I'm hoping I can watch it a second time in cinema because if I'm honest, guys, I might be adding this to my list of favorite movies. Yes, it is quite the retcon, especially in how Cruella sends Perdita and Pongo to Anita and Roger. It almost completely turns the premise of 101 Dalmatians on its side. So, yeah, that's kind of ruined. But as a standalone movie, and I know it's been a while since I've said this, but Cruella is drop dead fantastic. The movie is 2 hours long, and as I was sitting in that cinema, I could really feel that. I could feel that runtime stretching, but I wouldn't cut it down for the world. I wouldn't change that. I just 2 hours, it's fine. Keep it like that. I like how Cruella felt like a much darker version of The Devil Wears Prada. And hats off to Craig Gillespie, because I think, you know what, he's a fine director. Craig Gillespie is a fine director. I really enjoyed I, Tonya that he made with Margot Robbie, and now Cruella with Emma Stone. It's just, I'm really enjoying his work, and like, hats off to him. I also can't help but feel like there's something worth exploring in this retcon. Yes, this is a new take on Cruella, and it overwrites certain things that we knew her as before in the past, but I'm very excited to see where her story continues from here. I feel like this retcon is just as powerful as the original Cruella, and I can't wait to see what they do next if a sequel happens. I really like how Cruella came to take everything from the Baroness. She was like, I want it and I want it all. You know, the Baroness really experienced something akin to a Kung Fu Panda movie. Yes, I'm talking about a Kung Fu Panda movie. Kung Fu Panda's black and white, Cruella's black and white, it makes sense. The Baroness met her destiny on the path she took to avoid it. But I feel like the relationship between Cruella and the Baroness is going to be something worth exploring in the future, and I'd love to see how that develops, especially because Cruella didn't kill the Baroness. The Baroness ended up going to jail, and since Cruella is, you know, coming into her wicked side, she might have to come back to Mummy for a tip or two. Lastly, I have to say that the performances were just amazing. Emma Thompson was great. Emma Stone was amazing at every turn. I mean, I say that like I'm expecting her to do to do bad, but no, she brought the fire. She really did it. But truly, it's the supporting characters that really fill in the holes and make everything round and great. John McCree's Artie was the perfect counterpart to Emma Stone's Cruella. Those two, dynamic duo, and I need to see what those two are going to do in the future. And Paul Walter Hauser was an excellent Horace. I've never seen him do an English accent before, but he murdered it. I feel like every time Paul Walter Hauser comes across my screen, he's just that much better, and he has range and he has presence, and he just elevates whatever he's in somehow. I don't know how he does it, but that's enough fawning. Review time. Rotten Tomatoes gave Cruella a critic score of 74%, and IMDb gave Cruella a 7.4 out of 10. And ooh, that is so close to an 8. So close to an 8, and an 8 on IMDb is fantastic. I honestly think that that's a real achievement, 7.4. I wholeheartedly, with no regrets, give Cruella a 4.5 out of 5. Currently the highest ranking film we've ever done. And I do not care. I know that it's biased, and the rating has always been about how great a time I have watching the film, and I think I love this movie. I think I found a new favorite. That's not something that happens often these days, and there you go, 4.5 out of 5. Take it or leave it. And on that note, that's all from me, guys. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you think I'm an imbecile and that this video is an affront to fashion and you hate my all might hair, give it an even bigger thumbs up. As I said earlier, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified about every time we upload. Also, visit our Patreon and let us know we're doing a good job by letting us hold $1. The next movie is definitely going to be on Wrath of Man. It's a Guy Ritchie action movie, and it completely knocked my socks off. Knocked them off completely. Like, my feet were cold watching that movie. So set the date, because as always, I'll be here next Thursday with another video on my thoughts on stuff. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.